Today, I am flying from Sydney to Singapore in one of the world's most exclusive first-class cabins, Singapore Airlines. Not only does this seat turn into a bed big enough for a family of 3, but it also includes unlimited 5-star meals, vintage champagne, and heaps of other insane features. But I won't get too ahead of myself here because this first-class flight experience begins before we even take off in the Singapore Airlines first-class lounge. So it is 5:15 here at Sydney Airport, and I've just checked out of my hotel. We're about to check in at the Singapore Airlines first class. But I'll tell you what, I'm glad I'm not in that line behind me. After I checked in and got my bag sorted, I was then escorted to the first and business class security line, which was virtually non-existent. And upon making my way through, I ran into my first problem. I don't know where I'm going. Gates 50 to 63 this way, mate. So with no clue where I was going, but plenty of time to figure it out, I figured this would be the perfect opportunity to go and suss out the first class lounge. And upon walking in, I was blown away by all the different seating and food options. I was the first in on this day because they'd only just opened, which meant I could have any seat that I wanted. So I decided to go and sit right by the runway and watch the planes take off. Good, thank you. How are you?
Good, thank you. Here's your menu.
Thank you.
And would you like to order some coffee, tea, drinks, anything?
Could I please have a latte?
One latte with any particular milk? This is normal milk.
Just full cream milk, please. Yep.
Have a look. I'll come back.
Thank you very much. I then decided to check out the menu, which had a solid variety of options available, and after careful consideration I opted for the smashed avo and eggs to chase down with my latte. My food arrived only a short 5 minutes after ordering, and I wasted absolutely no time. Here's the honest Lukey V review. I then went to check out the bathroom, which was hella fancy and had a massive shower in it, but with only an hour until takeoff, I decided I better get going and figure out exactly where I'm supposed to be boarding. And with that, it was time for me to get on my first class flight from Sydney to Singapore. The second I saw my seat, I couldn't believe how much room there was, because despite it looking big in photos and videos online, you got to see it in person to really do it justice, but more on that later. As I sat there mesmerised by the sheer size of the seat, I opened the cupboard in front of me, which had an amenity kit with shower essentials and a diffuser inside. 5 minutes after boarding, the flight attendant greeted me by name and handed me a menu with all the different food and drink options for first class. And given that it was 8 o'clock in the morning, it only seemed right to order the 2015 Cristal to kick off the day right. But before I even had a chance to taste it, the flight attendant said this.
Not every flight has it though, so you're lucky to.
And with that, it was time for me to break my 2-year sober streak and have my first ever sip of champagne.
This is the first sip of alcohol in 2.5 years. Wow, bro, that's different. I've literally never had a champagne before. It's very different. This is nice.
Bro, this is crazy. Such a big seat. Like, the photos you see and even this video don't do it justice for how much room there actually is. I'm gonna take my shoes off. This is a big step up from Emirates economy. Like, you could dead ass fit 2 people in this seat. I was then given a pair of slippers as well as a hot towel and made myself familiar with the TV and seat controls. But in no time at all, it was time to take off and begin our 7.5-hour journey to Singapore. We are reaching cruising altitude, and I've just discovered something really cool. The seat goes back, because what I thought was this seat was like a fully upright seat and that the staff had to make it into a bed for you, which they do, but it can go back. You don't have to ask it to be a bed in order to be able to lie down. It's like a full recliner chair, bro. After getting comfortable with my seat, I was given some warm nuts which tasted absolutely banging. I was then given a blanket and decided to chuck on a movie to enjoy with some champagne, which I had topped up repeatedly over the next hour. Here I am having way too much fun with the seat controls. But with all this liquid coming in, I suddenly needed to use the bathroom, which gives me the perfect opportunity to show you how it looks. And upon getting back to my seat, I decided I was going to order some caviar.
I'll just have that first, please. Perfect, thank you very much.
Only 5 minutes after ordering, they set my table and shortly after brought my caviar out. Look at that, mate. It looks good, but now it's time for the moment of truth. Does it really live up to the hype, or is it just a food that people order because of the price tag?
Can't really compare that to anything. Like, it tastes really nice, but I wouldn't compare it to any other fish, you know, like I wouldn't say it tastes like barramundi or salmon or anything like that. Like, it's very unique, very salty, but it's nice. I wonder what this is, this yellow stuff. I'm like a full bogan, just using my hands here, but I want to get, what is this? It's like coconut or something. Whatever that stuff is, that really changed it. Like, it's a bit more tangy. Try this out. Wow, bro. Shout out to the fish whose children I just ate. Big ups. gonna get back to the movie.
With only 4.5 hours until landing, I pressed play on my movie and decided to order some more Cristal with the braised beef cheek and red wine sauce off of the menu. But before I even received my food, the flight attendant came to offer me a refill of champagne once again.
They're all trying to get me drunk on this flight. Every single time I order food or every single time they walk by, would you like another glass of wine? I mean, it's really good service, but I swear they're just trying to get me as smashed as possible. I might wait till after lunch, thank you. Thank you very much. What is this, sir?
Olive oil.
Oh, thank you very much. They're giving me a bottle of olive oil, bread of my choice. There were 3 different breads, and they come with the steak now.
So this is the beef stick that you have requested. It's different from the menu.
Thank you very much, beautiful.
Wow, bro, look at that. Braised beef cheek and red wine sauce. I struggle to believe it gets any better than this. But let's stop the yapping and see how this thing tastes.
Considering it was made on a plane, bro, that is insane. And I've done it medium rare as well. That is really good. You know when you get a shit steak and it's real chewy? I would expect it to be like that because it's on a plane, but it's not. It's like a full restaurant level medium rare steak. And I would rate that a solid 7 out of 10. I think this is potato. It's in the shape of like a cube. Bro, with the potato, I'm gonna have to rate that a solid 9. I don't know what they put on that. There's like some sort of spice on it, and it tastes really nice. Wow. That's a good quality sourdough. Real fresh. You know when you get a sourdough and it's been there for a couple of days, it's like a little bit crispy and like out of date, you know, when it's stale? It's not like that. This service has been unbelievable. I've just ordered the yuzu cheesecake with almond crumble, which will be absolutely beautiful. Thank you. So it's like a cheesecake bowl. Like it's actually, she was saying it's prepared by the chef. It's not just something that they've got pre-made. She was saying the other 3 items on the menu that are for dessert are like pre-made things. This is what you call book the cook. So with Singapore Airlines, you can pretty much go into the app and pre-order, like pre-select meals that you're going to have on the flight, which just gives them a bit more notice. But I've just essentially done it on the flight, which gives us a little bit more of a well put together meal.
But before getting stuck into my cheesecake, you know I had to order yet another glass of Cristal to wash it down, which brings us to the official Lukey V cheesecake review.
So it's essentially like a passion fruit cheesecake, right? With walnuts in it, by the looks. Whoa. Mustn't have had that up properly.
That tasted absolutely unreal, and after having far more food than I anticipated, I finished my glass of champagne, chucked on the best superhero movie ever made, and decided to ask the flight attendant to turn my seat into a bed to really make the most of my first class experience.
This is like a full bed on a plane, right? So I'm 6'5". Obviously I don't fit in here fully because I am quite a tall person, but my legs are at the end there, right? My head is basically at the top, so it's a fair amount of room. My legs are only bent slightly, I'd say like that much. So pretty solid amount of room, all things considered. Like the fact that I'm on a plane is crazy, bro. Can't wait till my parents watch this. Shout out to mum and dad. Oh yeah, and I forgot, they just gave me a chocolate as well as a 7th glass of champagne. Bro, I'm so tired and I haven't even been awake for that long. Like I got up at 4:20 this morning, but I think I would have got a solid 7 hours of sleep. Well, I guess it's just a super comfy flight, and obviously I've had a few of those champagnes to sedate me, and we will be arriving to Singapore in 3 hours. But that's not the end of our first class experience, because we still have the first class lounge at Singapore Airport to attend to. The bed set up, I have just been lying down. I got incredibly tired, so I decided to smash down some Eurogum, but my hair is looking a little bit messy, so I'm going to go into the bathroom and straighten it up before we land, just in case there's any shorties at the Singapore airport.
So with only 2.5 hours until touchdown, I had some chocolates that the flight attendant gave me, continued watching the movie, and decided that I better try and get some rest before we land. I woke up an hour later and had the flight attendants turn my bed back into a seat to prepare for arrival.
Honestly, there is nothing bad to say about this flight. I can't come up with any sort of complaints, except for the fact that it just
wasn't longer because of how good it is.
As we began our descent into Singapore, I took a moment to stare out the window at the crystal clear waters and admire the beauty of the country from up above. But I no sooner looked out the window before we'd arrived at the Singapore airport. Fueled by caffeine and wild dreams, I was ready to check out the first class lounge to see if it really lived up to the name of being the best in the world.
Right, so this is a spin out. I've just arrived in Singapore and I've got to find Terminal 1. I don't actually know where I'm going. I've got to check in, I think, and then I'm going to go to the first class lounge. But at the moment, I've just literally got off the plane and I'm directionless. Like, I have no idea where I'm going. It says Terminal 2 over there, which is pretty far away. I'm going to guess Terminal 1 is in the opposite direction. So Terminal 2 over there, sorry. Terminal 1 must be over here. What is these cars? It's a robot going through the airport. It's like a robot wheelchair. See, what is this? This is robot wheelchairs cruising around the airport. I wonder what that's about. That's the second one I've seen now. So we've got the Silvercrest lounge up there. Right, bro, so what I'm actually going to do is I'm going to go up to the lounge because I'm just reading on the app for my flight from Singapore to Da Nang. And it says, for non-transit passengers on flight SQ212, please collect your baggage at Terminal 3, Belt 44 upon arrival. I'm pretty sure that's just for people who are not having a layover, because as far as I'm concerned, I check my baggage through. But I don't know, my mind likes to wig out, and I'm wondering whether or not that means I need to collect mine. So just to be sure, I'm going to go up here and make sure with the stuff. So after confirming that my baggage was in fact checked all the way through, one of the staff members then escorted me to the first class lounge, which upon entering I could not believe how much nicer it was than the one in Sydney. And after consulting with Miss GPT, I learnt that this lounge comfortably seats over 130 people at a time. I had a quick walk through and came to find that I was one of the only 3 people in the lounge. Have a go at that champagne collection, mate. I walked back to my seat and I was greeted by one of the friendly staff members offering me a food and drink menu. And given that I'd already indulged a fair bit on this day, what I decided to order should come at no surprise to anyone. 2013 Tatinga Komakata champagne. I don't even try to get me to pronounce that. Tatinga. I'm not even joking when I say this is the fanciest room I've ever been in. Like, just, I thought the Sydney airport one, it could not get better than that. I walk in here, they check my boarding pass, and I thought this was like the staff room or something. This is crazy. Check out the view from the first class lounge. I'm quite sure that's into Terminal 3. That's the little cafe sort of thing we were at. Tatinga Contest de Champagne. I'm not French, mate, but I've ordered a glass of that, so I think that's 2 years older rather, than the most vintage wine that was on the plane. But you can tell I'm not a wine connoisseur, because on the plane, right, she asked me if the Cristal was any, like, whether it tastes any better than the, I think it was a 2015 Cristal versus the 2020 champagne, and I literally said to her, like, they taste the exact same. And I said to her, but I don't really drink like I haven't drinking in a long time, so I wouldn't have a clue. I'd be the wrong person to ask. Only a short moment after ordering, the waiter came back with the full bottle of Tatinga Comtesse, I believe it's called, which I guzzled down rather fast. Just be thankful I wasn't the one flying the plane on this day. I then decided to check out the menu for some food, and I opted for the Wagyu beef burger medium rare. Whilst I waited, I FaceTimed my mum, and in no time at all, the food had arrived. Medium rare Wagyu burger. I'm glad I didn't order anything else. Like, it's not too big, but I can just tell I'll get through this and I won't be able to eat anything else afterwards. There's always a second stomach for dessert. Like, such a simple burger. It's literally got tomato, Wagyu, portobello mushrooms, and I don't even think it doesn't have any cheese. That's a super simple burger, but it's so nice. Bro, I just noticed too, they've got like a peach tree just sitting adjacent from me just here. Is that what you'd call it, a peach tree? A peach bush just chilling in the airport? After demolishing my burger, I made the bold choice of ordering the red velvet cake with a 20-year aged port wine, which I'll just say might have been a mistake. Let's suss this out. We'll go cake first and then we'll try the port. I'm a little bit skeptical because it's very, very dark. That's nice. It's what you'd expect. Red velvet, little bit nutty, nice and sweet. Got the creamy icing on the top. Let's suss this out. I'll smell it first. Bro, I can just tell that is going to be fucking burning on the throat. You know when you drink something like a whiskey or a scotch and it burns your throat? Some people like that, but I'm not a fan of it, and that is what this is doing. This tastes to me
very similar to like a whiskey or a scotch. It's not appealing to me whatsoever. See, that is something my parents could appreciate. I know this is a drink that we have in our house that they've had before. They're big, I wouldn't say big, but they like their port. I think they would be a fan of this. Personally, it's just not for me.
But the worst part of the experience wasn't the port, it was the fact that it had to end so soon. Before leaving the lounge, I had a look in the bathrooms, which were somehow bigger and fancier than the ones at the lounge in Sydney. I then made my way over towards Terminal 1, but got a little lost and stumbled into the butterfly garden, which I definitely wasn't complaining about. But with a little bit of luck, I found my way to the SkyTrain, which would take me to Terminal 1, and upon arriving, I discovered that I was more than half an hour late for boarding.
So how's this? I'm running super late. I was supposed to board at 2:25. It's now 2:45, so we're about 20 minutes late. And I've only just figured out where I'm supposed to go. I definitely stayed in the lounge for too long.
And that, ladies and gentlemen, concludes our 7.5-hour flight from Sydney to Singapore. Right now I'm in Da Nang. You can see the coastline right behind me looking very beautiful. And I just want to say, if you've made it this far into the video, thank you so much for supporting me, especially if you've come from my main channel, as you guys are the ones who have made this possible. I would not be here without you, so I owe it all to you. Also want to say a massive shout out to my mum and dad. Love you guys so much. You've supported me through thick and thin. I would not be where I am today without you guys. But with that said, I will see you in the next one. Hit the sub button if you did enjoy this video. Smash the like, and as always, stay grinding, my G.